Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Gooners podcast. I mean, I'm always worried about recording late and putting things out late, but this is one of those times when everything kind of like aligned together for this late episode to be as fun as possible. Because right now, I'm thinking of this phrase that it's 7-0 somewhere in the world right now. So it's 7-7-0 somewhere in the world always. So be happy about the 7 o'clock 7-0 core line of United. With me to discuss about our win first, I have Arun back with us. Hi, Arun.
Hi, hello.
And we have Ellen back with us. Hi, Ellen. How are you?
Hi, Picasso. Hi, Arun. Good to be back.
Awesome. So I completely rewrote what I wanted to say before, about this episode, because I was thinking about, oh, we are top of the league and all those songs and stuff. And then suddenly the complete, happiness or joy or whatever the term you have to use of United being mauled so bad came about that I rewrote everything. So we'll talk about that too. But before that, we need to start this off with, the usual stuff that please do like, share, subscribe, comment in your comments on what your thoughts are on this episode and on the win and everything. But coming back to the game side of it, Arun, I'll start with you. This is an incredible weekend for Arsenal fans, right? Like first, the Arsenal women won that cup. I don't even know. It's equivalent to our Carabao Cup, but Kartik Cup. I don't remember it. Sorry for that, but
The WSL League Cup, yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Whatever it is, winning against Chelsea's women is
the
always
best
like
team
a big thing for it.
Yeah, that too, like coming from behind to win that game, that was great. And then Arsenal play, and then they score this, like they go behind 2 with a 9-second goal to start off with, and then come back and win that game with the last kick of the ball. And I thought, okay, this is a great week. And then it went like, no, this is not enough. That United has to lose and just not lose.
You forgot about Tottenham losing.
No, that is a given. That happens every. It's not something rare that happens. So this weekend has been great as an Arsenal fan, right? What are your thoughts? How are you feeling about this?
Oh, fantastic! I mean, like you said, it started with an amazing win that pretty much moved my Saturday. That was the same thing that I was thinking about all of Saturday until we got to the United Liverpool game. So that was like a fantastic game, fantastic way to start. And while we were playing that game, like I said, the Tottenham loss made it even more special because like we were watching it at a pub and there were Tottenham fans right next to us who made this horrible mistake of cheering when Bournemouth scored their second goal. And in my mind, I was like, okay, no matter what the result of this game is, just wait to see what we do when Wolves score a goal. And that's exactly what happened. We won 3-2. The celebrations were unbelievable. We were celebrating for like 2-3 minutes, just singing about Arsenal. And then all of a sudden, someone started, what do you think of Tottenham?
Shit!
Yes, exactly. So this is the same thing. And the fans were like, they were cursing themselves, basically. Like, they were sitting there. You don't do this, you like levels. There are levels, and this game showed the levels. Amazing weekend. The way in which we came back, the way in which it's not about conceding goals. Every team in a title run or whatever run that they are on in a course of a season, there are 38 games. You cannot expect every game to be like a cakewalk, and it doesn't happen even for the best of the best teams. And the way in which we played, yes, we did concede the 2 goals, but the fact that we never gave up. And it was the last kick that literally won us. I thought I was hallucinating, to be honest. I thought the effect of 3 coffees and that early in the morning finally hit me.
Is that coffees called,
It was too early for anything else in the morning at that point, though a lot of people were celebrating still. Yeah, it was like a 10 a.m. start for us in the East Coast. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, in Montreal, coffee, like Guinnesses are called coffees for anyone.
Yes,
who
come to
doesn't-
Montreal. This is a promotion for tourism, Montreal. You can get like Guinness's coffee.
Okay.
So yeah, it was like unbelievable. Like, you know, the feeling, it did not sink in. Like I said, like, it doesn't. I don't think it has sunk in yet. Like, you know, I still keep watching videos. I woke up in the morning and I was watching videos of Japanese commentary, Arabic commentary, saying win, and how, like, you know, enthusiastic it was. That's how fun it was just to watch these things. No matter what happens this season, like, just giving these memories. This is what you live for as a football fan. Like, you know, your trophies, all the numbers, all of them are numbers. They're good for banter with your fellow you know, like friends or whatever it might be, rival fans. But like, these are the things that make you a football fan. You don't start following a club because of the trophies that they win, you follow them because of the style of play and the emotions that they give you. And my club has given me all of these emotions. This is what I was yearning for. You know, like, I've been like, I when I say I think I talk for all of us, like, not just the three of us, the entire fan base. Over a decade, we've been like looking for getting these same emotions back, the feelings of like the joy of watching Arsenal play, and we know how good they can be, and the joy of watching, more than that, kids from our academy come in and make all of this difference. All of this put together in a squad that doesn't cost, like, you know, 300-400 million. It's like what the club stands for.
Yep.
Everything is coming to fruition.
Arsene Wenger would be proud of this.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter whether we win anything at all. We don't win anything. Doesn't matter for me. Just like giving me these moments that I've been waiting for all of these years. The joy of watching my team play, the joy of celebrating a win like this. Thank you, Arsenal. You made and thank you, Liverpool. You know, like, I have to mention this. Thank you, Liverpool. Honestly, we might have a lot of differences, but like, when it comes to teams like United or like Tottenham and that Champions League finals, you guys have done us a solid. So thank you very much.
No, we will talk about United and Liverpool in a bit, but because before that, it's still an Arsenal podcast, so we'll talk about Arsenal first. So, Ellen, like, Arun was mentioning about what the season is about and like on all those things, right? Like, but still, the emotions around it is something very special. Like, I see it two ways, right? Like, yeah, we have 12 games to go for us to go through the season. Whether we win it or not, that's another, like, that in itself, like, when I say whether we win it or not, in itself is a very big stride from where I was before this game. Before this game, I was like, I don't care if we win it or not. Like, I'm happy where we are. But now I'm like, maybe a little bit ahead on that line of thought where I'm like, oh, maybe we will win it and it'll be great, right? And I saw that we all saw that like reaction from the players when the goal went in. Everyone streamed in. There was like Odegaard sprawled on the ground. There was like Saliba kicking the flag
and the flag kicked him back.
Arteta high-fiving a kid before realizing it's a kid. Why am I high-fiving a kid? Like, and personally, I was in like a shock. I was shocked. I was like going through the whole emotion of like disbelief to belief to like ecstatic. What were your like emotions around it? Like, after the win.
See, before I go into my emotions, right, I want to talk about the player emotion. Reece Nelson. After doing all of this, right, he was the calmest guy in the entire ground. Like, that kind of confidence, right? Like, he had the belief he will score, and like after doing that also, like being calm, right, means it is like a regular thing for him. It was like that. See, when you have that kind of spirit with a player, right, you can do anything. And coming back to my emotion, right, like that week, right, like Newcastle like didn't score at all, and like they were like playing very well, but still like losing that game against City. And like for 60 minutes, it was like the same case for us too. But then, right, the last 30 plus minutes or 35 minutes, like completely, it was a roller coaster emotion. Till that, it was like all the ways like at the bottom, and then like it went till the maximum, like say from 0 to the top. It was like that. And like, see, one thing I can add here is no other club in Premier League has the experience of conceding a goal in the first minute and winning it in the injury time. No other club has it. The previous other instance was also in 2007, Arsenal defeated Fulham, like in our home. Like Fulham scored in the first minute, and then like we scored around 83rd or 84th minute through
I remember a couple of
penalty.
instances.
RVP's penalty, and then like 90 plus minute, assist Fabregas will assist Alexander Elb. That is the only other instance in Premier League where a team has conceded in the first minute and has won. So we have experienced this emotion twice, and no other club in the history of Premier League has experienced it even once.
But
So
Ellen, okay.
that's a special thing only for us, like the Invincibles.
Yeah, but okay. So the thing is, like, I'll ask you this question because you are mentioning this, it came to my mind. If I give you a chance between like winning this game, 3-2 in 80th minute versus winning this game like how we won right now, which is more satisfying for you?
See, there is two things here. One is satisfaction, I'll say 80th minute. But what I want is like this kind of win. The reason is when this kind of win happens, right, and that too for us, it has happened like against United and like as a continuous games, like we are winning like this. What does that do is like it creates a group of belief, like the entire group, right, starts believing themselves more. And they also like what to say, gel together as a team even more. These kind of experiences or these kind of events is what like makes a team stick together a lot, and they will be able to achieve a lot of things in the future. So for that reason, I'll say whatever happened is actually the one like we want to have. But I don't want like such kinds of heart pressure moments in the coming week. But definitely like this is a good moral boosting win for the team.
So that is actually a really good thing. I mean, I am all over the place today, not going through like the regular process of like talking about starting lineup and everything.
Mhm.
But Arun, like what Ellen said is so true, right? Like it brings together team because I feel that togetherness not just because of this victory, it has been happening for quite some time. Even in this game, I was rewatching it and noticed that Granit Xhaka and Jorginho are on the sidelines talking constantly to Fabio Vieira, talking constantly to Smith Rowe, talking constantly to everyone on that left side, so much that they are like the referee cannot do anything because they are warming up. They are not like they don't have a area where they could stand and talk like the boss has. So that brings it such a thing, right? Like Shaka is not worried that Fabio Vieira, if he plays well, he's going to take my position. Right? That is something very, very unique about or I don't know if it's unique or like if it happens in other teams or I don't know, because when you look at City, you can see players throwing tantrums. You look at Salah and Mane relationship, that was a tantrum. So there's always this kind of a us, you versus me kind of situation in most teams, and even in Arsenal we had that before.
We you know what, I understand what you mean. Right now it's working fine because like I believe that the entire team and everything, they saw what happened last year, and that sort of like the fact that they were not able to cross the finish line when everything was there right in front of them sort of brought the group more closer together and achieving fighting to achieve like a common goal. These things that we talk about in terms of uh, jealousy or whatever, like, oh, you're taking my spot, that would come in once we settle and we keep moving forward as a team. We try to win something. At that point, yes, all of these, like the Liverpools and the cities that we are talking about, the Liverpool team wasn't fighting when they were like not doing anything under Klopp at the beginning. Once they started winning, once like you the levels are increased in a team and everyone wants you to perform at a certain level for you to be able to win, that's the point when people start asking questions of each other. And that's when all these things would start. So right now what we see is like all these older heads like Xhaka, Jorginho or Partey guiding the younger ones to be able to achieve what we really want to achieve. That it shows like the amount of belief that they have in the manager, the process, the amount of beliefs that they have in the squad that we have right now. That's what's driving it here. So these guys are taking the role of the senior citizens and like guiding these people, making sure that focus is a very important thing for these games. Like when you're chasing a game from being 2-0 down, all that you need is focus. That focus drives the intensity and that keeps you in the game. It's easy for young kids to lose their focus, like kids in their 2021, they can easily lose their focus during a game. That's when you want these guys like Xhaka and Jorginho to come in. So yes, I do understand your point. There is a lot of togetherness which we've not seen in the teams of the past, where like it's to an extent where they do not want to lose a game. They're finding a way to win a game. And these are like Ellen said, these are the games that brings people together. Your belief increases. You start feeling like we cannot lose a game after this. So this is where like all of this comes together, and I find like this season is great. Yes, but the problems will, I believe, start coming in once we win something, or like people, there's more demand from each other to perform at a higher level than what it is happening at that point to get things done.
Okay.
Because of one more thing to add there, like our average age, right, is very, very less. See, people at that age, right, like will not be playing for a big club, most of the people.
Exactly, yeah.
And like they, even if they're playing, they'll be playing as sub and they will not be like starters. So very few like generational talents only will be playing at that engage. So for them, right, getting an opportunity itself is a big thing. So that is why you don't see, you take Ramsdale, for example. For England, right, he will not worry even if he doesn't get a chance. Whereas in Arsenal, right, if some of the other guys comes and like takes up his position, he might feel like bad and like he might want to do things. So that is what is happening here. We have like a lot of youngsters, so there is not much of competition or jealousy at that moment. See, it's like for them, every opportunity is like something they want to cherish. And that is what is happening now. Like as Arun said, right? Like say down the line, maybe like 4 or 5 years when the same team is playing, you could see all these kind of things. If for a senior person, like at that time, he has to play every game so that he's selected for the national team, or there are other reasons why he has to play every game. And if he's not able to do that, right, that's when the pressure and other things will start. And because of that, all these things comes in. Now they don't have any of those pressures or anything. They are enjoying their football. So see, in our local cricket also, or like local games we play, right? We don't have this jealousy because for us, it's just a game and we want to win or lose. That's the mentality. They will be there. Like, see, they will aim for the title and all those things. But finally, they will be enjoying the game. So that is why none of these are coming up.
Yeah, but getting back to the game, right? Like
As of
apart
now.
from the mentality and stuff, like getting back to the game, they were like starting. I have two questions for you, Ellen. Like starting lineup, seeing Tomiyasu in the startup, and then him getting replaced by Ben White, and the early start goal that like that they scored, which felt like a moment of like, oh shit, we didn't even know that we started.
Agreed on the see. It is like say the early start goal, right? You cannot blame anybody as it because everybody takes little time. And this is the second fastest goal in Premier League history itself. Shane Long did one in like 7 seconds something, and this is the second fastest goal. And Bournemouth has done similar thing like that against Fulham also in Championship. So this is not something they are doing for the first time. They've done it in the past also. So their players, right, are adapted to that. And like it's just like say the first goal, right? I'll say like I will not blame anybody. Like maybe the second goal I can blame somebody, but the first goal definitely I cannot blame anybody.
Please blame somebody for any goal, and I will listen to it.
No. First goal, like I cannot blame because see, people might see they might want 1 or 2 touches. Like even if you see most of our passing, we'll try to pass it to everybody within the first 1 or 2 minutes when we start the kickoff. Because like even till Ramsdale, like so that everybody gets a feel of that game. Anything like see before you blink and open your eyes, like the goal was all of a sudden scored. The same kind of thing would have repeated in the same match, like and like we would have covered the subsequent player there. And even though Ramsdale will be doing a save, but we would have like covered the other player who's running there for the ball. So that was missing in the first minute because like the players were still, you can say, like not 100% into the game. Maybe this is a learning for them and like they will have to be 100% right from the start of the game, which is expected out of them, but like I won't blame anybody. Coming to the starting lineup, like some of our players were like tired. See, Ben White, there was a period where he was not performing at all because he was playing day in and day out. So we played Tomiyasu. But the problem here is when you don't play a player also for a long time, right? They will also be rusty. We didn't have any Europa League or the other games, like we were out of the cup trophy. So there was no other game where they can play 90 minutes. So that is also a reason why some of the players like played and like Fabio Vieira, right, is again like was played because Saka needs a rest, and that is what like we were like changing and like some players like because they were playing longer durations in the previous matches were able to play well, whereas some players they were not able to play well. See, even take Emily Cithro. Even though he came as a sub, we had to substitute him because he's coming from an injury, and like we cannot play him for the entire 90 minutes, like and he has to be replaced. So that kind of issues we have, and like we cannot expect everybody to perform. And like say, I cannot blame Tomiyasu or others for the first goal, definitely. But Tomiyasu didn't perform to his usual standard. I'll agree on that. But I feel that is more due to rustiness. Like if he starts playing few Europa games, he will start to playing better again.
Okay. Arun, like talking about the first half in general, right? Like, I mean, there were Ramsdale saves that we need to talk about. Like, apart from everything else, it was Ramsdale who kept us in the game.
Yeah.
For me,
100%.
even though we were dominating in all other parts of the pitch, they were still carving us open a couple of times, and they could have been like 2 or 3-0 up easily in the first half. But Ramsdale kept us in the game. This is looking back. I think like someone in the group chat mentioned, like looking back, this has not been the first time Ramsdale is doing this.
100%.
He has done a lot of times to keep us in the game. That has been happening for quite some time. Talk to me a little bit about like the impact that Ramsdale has had in the team and especially in this win.
Ramsdale has been like I don't understand. Yes, he has his like shortcomings for sure. He's not like the final article yet, but we are talking about a keeper who is not even 25 yet. And we are talking about the keeper who's likely to be England number one within like next year or two. 100% he's going to be England number one. He's fantastic in terms of his intelligence. It's really, he's a very, very intelligent keeper who does not like get ruffled by anything, like be it the fans or opposition. He in fact cherishes it. And we all keep talking about his really good distribution and all that, but the shot stopping is not bad, and he's been showing that throughout the season consistently, this season, last season, every single time. I don't understand why a few of our fan base even doesn't rate him. I don't know if it's bitterness. There are people who I see like would rather prefer to have Emmy than him. I really don't understand that point. Like, whatever Ramsdale has done in terms of be it saving, in terms of like, there are so many situations that we have found like the ball going past our defense, but then he's there, like, and it's easy to say he's trying to make Hollywood saves, like by trying to go like, all out and all that. But just, we are not goalkeepers. We do not know how the body functions. The players we talk about, oh, it's easy. The FIFA knowledge that we have makes us think that it's easy for a player to turn at the last moment or like, turn. And it's not that easy. Like when a goalkeeper is making that save, he is like putting his body, like one simple example, the second chance that they had, it should have, of course, had it gone in, they would have like given it an offside. When like, I think Billing or Solanke, they just go on the left and then we lose the ball again, they send the ball. The way in which Ramsdale ran to save that, he cut out the lines for both the players who were coming on the right. That's intelligence for you. Like he could have just gone straight. He curved in and he went in, which made it like almost impossible for either of the players, even if they had gotten the ball, to actually be able to kick it. Only one got in and he was able to cover himself. So Ramsdale, in terms of what he's bringing to this team and what he's done, phenomenal. I love this guy in terms of what he brings into the team. The fact that like, he values his clean sheet so much. Yes, no goalkeeper is going to be perfect. He gets, his shortcoming mainly is that he gets beaten at the near post very easily. But he's got the age and the time, and we have a fantastic goalkeeping coach to be able to improve it. Just one stat. Our big chances conceded before the World Cup was 1.16. After the World Cup, it's been 2.08. Still, we've not seen a lot of damage. The goals that have been conceded since the World Cup, since we've come back, I do not know if we can maybe like one or two goals maximum could be attributed to like, oh, Ramsdale could have done something better. I wouldn't call it a fault or like, he missed the ball, fluffed something, anything at all. His command, his distribution, everything around it has been fantastic. And though the number of big chances that we've conceded after the World Cup has increased, there's not been a lot of damage in the number of goals that we've conceded. We conceded 3 against City, but that's City. But apart from that, all the matches, whether we won or lost or whatever it might be, we've been like performing really well. The United game, the goal that was scored, I don't know if he could have done anything for Rashford's goal. The Lisandro Martinez goal, I don't think he could have done anything. Like, the way in which he's improving this team is fantastic. I love this guy. I just love this guy.
Helen, about the other part of the defense, right? Like even though we conceded 2 goals, I think our defenders are not to blame for any of those goals.
No, the second goal, right, was more, as I said, the first goal, we cannot blame anybody. Like it happened without like many people, fans wouldn't have seated properly itself. Like they would just be walking in and the goal was conceded that quick. The second goal, right, I felt like man marking, we made a mistake. We allowed one person to roam freely and we scored. I don't say that as a defensive mistake. It was like a moment of concentration miss or like one single person made a mistake. you can say it that way, but like you cannot definitely say like it's a defensive error or something. But like what I will say is like after that, right? Like you could have seen Gabriel running for one of the ball, like he was like the furthest forward. See, even our defenders, right, were like, okay, we have conceded two. Like they didn't take it to the red or anything. They were like trying to win this game. They were trying till the last moment what we can do. That is what like I felt in that game. Like say again, as I said, like there was some mistakes. We can improve definitely for the second goal. We should not concede goals like that. But it is not a defensive or like a process mistake or anything. It is an individual mistake which has happened after a long time. That's what I will say. But like I will not blame any of the defenders for anything. In fact, they actually tried a lot. And like you can see that passion after our winning also. All the defenders wanted that win. Like after the 2 goals were conceded.
Okay, quick question to both of you. Like answer within a minute about this, right? Like referees, did they have a bigger say in this game than ever or no? Like those handballs and all those things, were they actually at fault or no?
Definitely at fault. But like one thing, like we always complain, right? They are not consistent. But this match, right, for a change, they were consistently giving wrong decisions. And like
That is
Bournemouth
not the
realized
consistency we wanted.
Bournemouth realized that, okay, we can play with hands also the football game. No, there were definitely like some of the decisions. See, just to give a small thing, commentators, right, like are always against Arsenal. If you
Yes.
see most of the commentators, they themselves are saying this should have been given as penalty because
Yeah.
like this has been given many times. It was that bad. This game I'll be on supporting you, Picasso. It was like referee bad
Already
decisions.
I got
But
Deepak on my side. Now I got Ellen on my
no,
side. So
when they
the
make such blind mistakes, right? We agree.
okay, awesome.
Only thing
I'm sorry, Ellen, that I cut you off about this about the refereeing decision, but I was happy about it. But getting back to the game, Arun, like our goals. Before that, we had a Trossard injury, and then we bring in Emil Smith Rowe, and he was part of the first goal that we scored. And then he gets substituted again for Nelson, and then Nelson comes in and contributes. We know the rest is history. But is that like the first goal in itself? The that time I was at the point like where I was going like, oh my god, we have to do something to get this back, or else this is going to be bad, right? And the first goal, it was just a pure willingness that we need to score, right? Like there was nothing else to add to it. It was not a pretty goal. It was not a purely like constructed goal or anything, right? And then once that is done, two-part question. First question is like this all the goals for me felt like this was not a construction. Like this was not none of it was a constructed goal. This was like all our players wanted to win, and we got those goals through sheer willingness of something that we have always been a little bit jealous of United, that they always pull this off, even though their
It
goals
never
were
happens to us, right? Usually
yeah.
we've seen time and again it happens to United. This season it happened to like Tottenham. We were cursing ourselves. Like, yeah, that I totally agree. For me, it kind of showed like, the fact that this team wants to get that win no matter what. Like Keown had mentioned something, when you're going on these runs, like especially during the Invincibles run, there were like teams, the games that you go behind, like you concede a goal, and then you convert like a loss to a draw to a win. This here, right here, we converted a loss straight up to a win. Like that's the kind of thing that happens only when the entire group believes the fact that they can actually come and get a goal or like get the win no matter what. The fact that we were playing at home only like helped our chances, because like I think even after the second goal, when nobody in the fans either like lost any sort of hope that we will not be able to get anything out of this game. That's the amount of faith that this team has given us, and when that rubs on, like Arteta said in All or Nothing, it's like what we feed them and what they feed us, right? So it's like a synergy that is created, and that's working beautifully this season at home. Like we are home, except for that City blip, it's been a fantastic record at home that we have right now. So for me, that showed me like the character of this team, like the same thing that we spoke about before, the seniors and the juniors like working together and making sure that nobody drops that belief. And coming to the substitutions, that was a next level. of willingness for me. That showed kind of the ruthlessness that the manager wants, or like the manager has in getting this W, no matter what. We know Smith Rowe, like my first thought was when Smith Rowe was substituted, I was like, oh my God, no, not again. I hope he's not injured again. But then I saw him like actually come out and then he left. If you notice, the second half, he was actually on the pitch. And that's like before the game began, he was subbed off, So when I saw that, I was like, okay, probably like it's not an injury, but I was surprised to learn that was tactical and Reece was brought in and Reece made all the difference. And that was true because Smith Rowe, as much as a ball carrier that he is, he's not going to be able to do the same things that Reece did.
He was substituted right after the goal was scored. Like
exactly,
he assisted the goal.
Assisted that goal.
He assisted the goal, and after the celebration, he was taken off. That was very surprising for me.
Yeah, that's the thing. I thought it was an injury, but like for me, when I look back at it, it shows the manager is not afraid to make a decision that needs to be made. We saw this when Tavares was playing. He was playing bad and he was hooked off. But that's Tavares. That's different. This here, we do have this like thing about Smith Rowe not being completely match fit, not having the legs to play like 70 minutes in total and all that. Why wait until the 80th minute to sub him off when you know that you can do this right away and you have a weapon in Reece who's ready? And when you give a chance like this to a player like Reece who's been waiting for chances like this, he just grabs it with both his hands. And like that showed right from the first minute that he came in. The fact that you said that the need for a win, the hunger and the desire for that win emanated from him. It was already there. The crowd was doing it. The players were doing it. But when he came in, he just like increased that and increased the tempo and took that to the next level. And that eagerness, sometimes players in their eagerness try to do too many different things. Your decision making goes for a toss at that point because you're driven a lot by emotion. You want to be the main man. You want to try a lot of things and you keep trying things and you end up like with shots that go into the zero. That's normally what happens. But the composure that he had in coming in and doing the stuff that he did and the way in which the entire team worked together, we were dominant. We were super dominant without getting the results for it. We are like outbeating them 3-1 for passes, outbeating them like 4-1 for possession and all that, which showed the kind of belief that the team had in itself. They knew that if they kept hitting, that's what we mean by the process. You have something, you believe in it 100%, you keep doing it over and over again till you get the result. And we were doing that over and over again. But the collective mentality of this group is unbelievable.
But regarding Reece though, right? Like he was the OG star boy. He was the original of the group, like that had Sancho and all these other kids that was touted as the next big thing from England, right? Of course, the injuries have done him in. I don't think he would have stayed at Arsenal this season if he was not injured. I think he would have gone out on another loan. Do you think this is going to be a turning point for Reece? Like, because we have seen him. Last time he came on, he scored 2 goals or something, right? Like where he played really, really well. And then he gets injured. And then he comes on now and he does that. He gets these injuries so often, but whenever he's on pitch, we see the quality. Do you see him extending his contract, being part of this team?
If he manages to stay until the end of the season without missing any more games, and if he's able to create some sort of an impact, it doesn't have to be 3 goals in like 20 minutes or anything of that sort. But if he's able to be a squad player, let's be honest, he's not going to replace Saka in the starting lineup. Right now, where Saka is, he's not going to replace Saka. No. And with Martinelli and Trossard playing as well, once Jesus comes in, it's either going to be Martinelli or Trossard on the left. Most probably Trossard. So again, I don't think that's going to change either. But for me to have the confidence to be able to give a new contract to Reece Nelson, I would like to see him go injury-free, sort of maintaining some performances till the end of the season. Because if it's not just about rewarding a player for good performances who's one of us, it's also the fact that we could possibly have gotten another world-class player who's almost like, the finished article or like has more experience in Europe at the age of 24 or 25. And if you're going to give Reece a new contract, we're actually foregoing that for giving Reece a new contract. We won't be getting another winger at that point. So this is a decision that needs to be done, I would say, only after towards maybe like the 35th game mark, when we are able to see if he's around the 35th game week mark, if he's able to put in like consistent performances over and over again. Yeah, I would definitely love for him to extend a new contract like what Eddie did with us, But then for me to be able to believe that there's no questioning his talent. Like if a guy can do what he did in the 97th minute with the composure that he did, the last kick of the game, his skill is not in no doubt for sure. It's the consistency and the injury factors. So, like I said, if I am going to forego a Quadona or a Musa Diaby or like someone at a higher level who's got more experience in Europe, or for a Reece Nelson, I would just like to see him be more consistent and injury free. That's my only thing, because we've seen great careers get destroyed by injuries.
Ellen, I need to step away a little bit from the Arsenal game. We need to talk about the Manchester United game, especially because their fans have been so toxic. Especially before the game, they were talking about how we are winning at the 8th minute of a 6-minute overtime, like they don't know football at all. And obviously, as Manchester United fan, I assume they don't know football. It's a minimum allotted time, not the maximum time, and they should know because they have been having the Fergie time forever, right? Like so. Talk about that loss by Manchester United and how good it feels to see the United fans shut up for once.
Yeah, definitely. Like I heard one of United fan, right, coming and saying, Twitter is toxic. Please don't go to Twitter. That is what is happening. See, again, you can say it's Ronaldo's curse also. It's Ronaldo 0, the scoreline. And talking about the timeline, right? Like United doesn't have any rights on that. Leave the Fergie's time. After war was coming into picture, right? They scored a penalty after the final whistle was blown.
Yeah.
And they defeated, I think, Brighton in that game. Like that is what United has done in the past. And like they don't have any rights to talk about. And see, there were time wasting. There were like other things happening even in that injury time. And so normally, see, that was the last attack. If the ball had crossed to the offline, this referee would have blown the whistle.
Yeah.
Before that went, like we scored, and that is what has happened.
Yeah,
like
it's
the
fair.
last attack, like we won, and it was a fair win. And like if they're complaining about this, right, we should complain or write a big what to say, a book itself on how many decisions or like how many time the time was extended till like they score a goal. Like that is the famous Fergie's time, as you rightly said. So I'm really, really happy United are. See, the only thing is like if it was 8-0, like that would have been even more happier thing for me. But still, 7-0 is good in a lot of ways because of Ronaldo's number being 7. And like whatever
8-0 because of
year,
8-2, right?
8-2,
8-0 because of 8-2.
No, we can still say that also we scored 2 goals. The goal difference is just 6. This one is like 7. And they didn't even score anything. And
well, that team wasn't challenging for the quadruple, Ellen. So
no. The other important thing also is Marcus Rashford, right? He has consistently or like continuously scored in 6 games. If he had scored in this game, it would have been a 7th game. He didn't score and they lost 7.
all the coincidences that can happen.
Yeah.
Arun, but like one last thing about the United thing, right? Like, I mean, apart from the goals, apart from the mocking and everything, it showed that we were lucky not to have Lisandro Martinez. It showed that like Bruno Fernandes is a dick, is a cunt, is an absolute worst player that even United fans shouldn't be praising about. It showed that like the team, for all whatever they said, is not good enough.
For me, the biggest thing that it showed was Anfield is the most difficult place to go and play. that's what it's like. You win at Anfield, you win the league. That's like the final frontier sort of. Because Old Trafford, Emirates, we all have the atmosphere. City has something, but City play the same way. Whether they're playing at home or away, they play the same way. They're going to dominate you. Like they're going to make you run and they're going to exhaust you. The Liverpool, when they're playing at Anfield, the levels that they get to is unbelievable. The crowd and everything. So for me, that and the fact that a team that is supposedly on a quadruple run buckled under pressure and conceded 6 goals in one half. There was not even an even distribution of 3 goals in the first half, 4 goals. No, 6 goals in one half. That is like unbelievable. Like I mean, I don't know if we could be so harsh on Lisandro Martinez. Like he's had a good first season. He does make mistakes here and there, but he's saying first season. I don't want to talk about Bruno Fernandes. I mean, like I think it's a waste of time talking about him. He's as good a player that he is. The kind of shit that he does on the pitch sort of negates everything else that you want to really like. Even if he makes a beautiful pass, you're like, oh, this fucker is going to do some shithousery, like that is not necessary at all in the game, and that's going to like negate all the effects. So for me, more than like showing where United are, it showed what Anfield is. United are where they are, and we know how good they've been this season, whatever they've done. But they're not like they are on a comeback run for sure. They'll get better over the coming seasons, but they are definitely not where they are, where the fans thought they were. Like that's a big again. That was shown to me, not only to me. I'm pretty sure it was shown to all the United fans as well. So all of them were flying, like above the clouds. Finally, probably came back down to earth. I still see a lot of people saying like, we still are only 14 points away. I mean, like for you to be
14.
able to bridge that 14 points, you need to actually like hope that
Win
you win
5 games.
everything and we lose 5 games. I don't know if we will lose 5 games, but them winning all the games is not possible. It's impossible. So it was just fun watching. It's super fun. It just like, showed how delusional we can be as fans and how easily we can be brought back to earth all in the matter of one game. It's football, man. Football.
Okay,
No,
last.
if they are like quadruple winning team, right? They should have like did what Real Madrid did to Liverpool. Just like couple of, you can say like the very few days before, like from 2-0 down, they lost it 5-2, right? Such a kind of victory is what like they should have done it.
But okay.
This
Well, that's another thing. If I were to say here, like a lot of people keep comparing. It was like a lot of tweets going on saying, "Oh, imagine what would have happened if Arsenal had lost to Spurs 7-0 and all that." Number one, I don't think that will ever happen in any of our lifetimes. Number one, and number two, if we did, I think we'll all collectively shut down the internet, podcast, everything, like everything, and just like not come out at all. So that's how
we'll
we
go back to the cave.
exactly. So it's like an unimaginable situation. It's a situation that we have in there. So I just wanted to bring that up as well.
Okay, so getting back to the Arsenal side of things before we end up in this podcast. So last thing that I want to talk to you both about, like this week we are starting the Europa League campaign again, restarting it from where we left off. What is both of your expectations out of it now that we are on this title run? What is your expectation out of it? What is the bare minimum that you expect, and what is the best case scenario that you expect
For the Europa League?
Yeah.
From this point on, it would be like nice to have a second European trophy, but I don't want it to come at a cost of a possible title challenge if we were to go there. So if I mean, like I don't see us having any problem in getting past Lisbon, though we did pay the price, I don't know, for being cocky against Bournemouth. So like I don't want to be cocky, but like whatever we get from the Europa for me from this point on is a bonus. If it means that, because like if you really think about it, a Europa win would make sense if we were like fighting for the fourth spot. Yes, that could be an alternative to like go into the Champions League. But right now we are looking at it as a trophy that would cap off a great season, but not at the cost of losing the Premier League and then winning the Europa. As much as it is like a European trophy, it doesn't have the same value. I don't think, for me, even the Champions League doesn't have the same value as winning a league in one of the top 3 leagues. It's 38 games, 38 weeks of like continuous consistency, the suffering, the pains that you have to go through. The cup games are like that one day you're good. So for me, like I do not want us to lose sight of the bigger picture, which is a possible title hit over something like a Europa League.
Helen?
So that's my thing on it.
Okay.
Rotate.
Before I go into my this thing, Sporting Lisbon, right? I think has not lost a knockout game against English club in Europe.
Yeah.
So that is actually a tough picture record-wise, like if you see. But like I will again say play the kids and like the people who like say Tomiyasu kind of people who needs game time in Europa till the semis. If we go to the semis, then maybe we can dream about the Europa League. Until that, right? Play how you played the group stages and other things. Play the same way. If we lose, it's well and good. Our focus should only be on the Premier League now. Make sure like our players are not getting injured or not getting overplayed or anything. See, City will definitely try for Champions League and this thing with the squad they have. But as I said, like they are also going to a few games that are getting postponed because of their like them playing FA Cup as well as like their competition playing the FA Cup. So a lot of games are getting. So there will be all these games have to be played in a very short time for City, and with Champions League also being in that picture at that time, right? It will make the life of City tough or like an L for them. If we are fresh at that time and make use of the games we play at that time, right? Weekly ones or like weekly two, and City play 3 or 4. We will have to take advantage of that definitely. So I will say focus on the Premier League and don't worry about whatever you are getting it in Europa League. If we get it, well and good, like this thing. But like as I said, like till once we go to semis, right, it's just 2 games or 3 games to take the knockout, like this thing. That you focus with your main players and other things because the 3 games you have a chance. But until that, right, I will say like concentrate only on Premier League.
Okay. That's actually a really nice way to put it, and I think that's the end of this episode. I don't think we have anything else to add, except that keep smiling, everyone. This is a great week for being an Arsenal fan after so many years of suffering and everything. So thank you, Ellen, thank you, Arun, for joining in. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and please do like, share, subscribe, and comment in your thoughts on what we have discussed till now. And please take a moment again to laugh at like United and Spurs, and enjoy. Have a great weekend. Have a great
Thank you.
week.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.